All right, for more on this, we're being joined now by investigative journalist Ben Swann. Hey there, Ben. So lots of moving parts today, a lot of stuff happening in Florida where you just were with your family. First, gosh, where do we start? Do we start with the media angle, perhaps, where the FBI is doing this bust? And lo and behold, tell us, Ben, who was outside of Roger Stone's home?
Absolutely. So this is an incredible part of the story, right? That CNN and their explanation for it is even worse than the fact that they were there in the first place. So CNN is there as the FBI comes in, raids Roger Stone's house, takes him out in handcuffs, right? They're there for the whole thing. And then the claim as to how this happened, the reporter says, well, he just kind of had a hunch, a gut feeling that Roger Stone was going to be indicted by a grand jury and then be arrested by the FBI at his home this morning. So they just happened to, sit outside at 5 a.m. and caught it all. Absolutely not true. I don't think anybody believes that story.
Yeah, totally. I would agree. Bogus answer. Obviously, I think it's to serve as a way to humiliate Roger Stone and drag him further through the mud. Let's take a quick listen to what he had to say when he stepped out of that courthouse after he posted bail, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
As I have always said, the only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about. After a 2-year inquisition, the charges today relate in no way to Russian collusion, WikiLeaks collaboration, or any other illegal act in connection with the 2016 campaign.
All right, Ben, you heard there, Roger Stone vehemently denies any Russian collusion or collusion with WikiLeaks, or, he says, I didn't do anything wrong, and yet you hear the crowd going nuts, all booing him.
Yeah.
Why are they booing him?
Well, why was there even a crowd there in the first place? I mean, again, this seems very organized and very staged to have that many people there, and they're all shouting and booing. Again, they being walked in. There's so much theater associated with this. And you made a comment right before we heard that thought. You said this serves to help to humiliate Stone, right? I agree with that, but I think there's more to it than that. I think the FBI wanted the optics of them arresting someone in connection with this Russia investigation, because the optics of it stays in people's minds. I remember seeing somebody being taken away in cuffs. I remember seeing video of this, right? And so I think it plays into that as well. There's a lot of theater surrounding this, but it's important to note, there is no mention of Russia in this indictment. It's a 24-page indictment. I've read the entire thing. There's no mention of Russia whatsoever. And actually, there's no connection directly between Roger Stone and WikiLeaks, even though WikiLeaks was what is not supposed to be part of this investigation. There's no direct connection there either. Roger Stone was, according to this indictment, simply had a secondary person who he is hounding for information, trying to find out whether or not WikiLeaks is going to do these email dumps of Podesta's emails and the DNC emails and the Clinton emails, and is constantly hounding this person to find out because he wants to look like he's in the know, and he wasn't in the know. In fact, at times, he's told in this indictment by his source, it's not happening today. And Stone gets mad because he looks bad because he doesn't actually know what's going on. Yeah, and like you said, the FBI had no mention on this indictment of any Russian collusion. Same thing that went for Paul Manafort, the former campaign manager for President Trump of 2016. Same thing. They indicted him on a bunch of white-collar crimes, had nothing to do with tax-related crimes.
Right. They're a bunch of money laundering, white-collar crimes. Nothing to do with any kind of Russia collusion. No. So here's where we're at, right? The FBI, along with Bob Mueller and his team, does it seem like they're just grasping at straws and trying to take down anybody they can for the optics? Is that right? It seems like that, right? So here's part of the problem. Part of the problem when you do one of these special prosecutor, special investigator cases is that they have the right, the essentially assignment to go wherever the information leads them, which invariably
seems to lead them away from Russia and away from a collusion case. And instead it leads them to charges of tax evasion, charges of hiding money. That's what Manafort's in trouble for, right? And rightfully so. Look, listen, if there's tax evasion stuff there, he goes to jail for it, that's fine. But the problem is that when you read the headlines,
right,
it says 5th person, 6th person connected to the Russia probe. Russia probe doesn't mean it has anything to do with Russia. It has to do with tax charges. George Papadopoulos, who pleaded guilty, what did he plead guilty to? Lying to the FBI, made a statement, and then later on said, okay, that statement wasn't correct, but it wasn't because of collusion.
Right.
Roger Stone, what he's in trouble for today, tampering with witnesses and making statements that they say are false statements or lying to prosecutors, essentially meaning you said one thing here and it turned out to be this, but not because of collusion. So none of these indictments so far are actually related to Russian collusion.
That's right, Ben. All it takes is for them to ask you, on such and such day, did you wear a blue suit? And you said yes. And then you go back to photos and you realize, oh, it was a gray suit. Well, now you've just lied to the FBI. I mean, that's right. Oversimplification, but that's essentially
Actually, it's not even an oversimplification. It can be that simple, which is why I don't understand this part of the story. Why was Roger Stone opening his mouth in the first place? Shut up. Don't say anything. Talk through a lawyer if they want to ask questions, and make sure that whatever you're saying is absolutely accurate. Because if you read the indictments, nothing that they claim that he did, that he lied about, the actual acts themselves are not crimes. It's not a crime to try to find out what WikiLeaks is doing.
Yeah, well, we'll see if he takes your advice, Ben, because we know he watches. So we'll see if he zips up, buttons up his mouth from here on. All right, thanks. As always, fun chat today. Ben Swann.
Thanks, Manila.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.